Hi, my name is Allison. It's nice to meet you. And your name is?
Sandra Sampson.
Nice to meet you, Sandra. Do you have a nickname that you prefer? Do you want me to call you Sandra or maybe Miss Sampson?
Sandra's fine.
Okay. Alright, so when you first contacted the agency, you noted that you were having a drinking problem and that you were kind of lacking in your friends and social life, and you also had mentioned that you had some struggles with your mother and that you had recently broken up with your boyfriend. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. During our meeting today, I'd like to get to know a little bit more about your social life, maybe more about your relationship with your mother, and then maybe more about your boyfriend.
Okay.
So in our agency, we like to help people who struggle with addictions and maybe how they cope in the world and how we can help you to get better. So I plan on helping you get over your addiction and then talking about maybe some of the things that your addiction has contributed to and helping you kind of work through things.
Okay.
So I want to go over my agency's policies with you. Are you familiar with any of them?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So I want you to know that everything that you share with me will remain completely confidential. I'm the only one who will ever know what you say. Nothing you say will ever leave this room. The only time that I might need to tell somebody of your situation, which you will be notified, is my supervisor, but that's only when I need to seek guidance or maybe take another step in the right direction to help you, but it's only so that I can help you.
Okay.
And I also want you to know that I am a mandated reporter, so if you report to me something that can be potentially harmful to either you or someone else, I do have to report it.
Okay.
Okay. I also want you to know that if you have any social media like Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat, I will never go looking for you.
Okay.
And if we ever see each other in public, I don't know how you feel on this, I won't go up to you unless you say it's okay. I know a lot of people don't know that, they don't tell people that they're in therapy, so I'll never approach you in a social setting unless you tell me otherwise.
Okay. Thank you.
I will always try my hardest to be available for you, and I should be, but in the event that I'm unable to be there for you, I will either have my supervisor or another team member help you. But just so you know, everything will still remain completely confidential.
Okay.
So, do you have any questions, or did you understand everything that I just said? Would you like me to repeat anything?
No, I think I understood.
Okay, great. So can you tell me what led you to contact the agency? Because as I mentioned earlier, when you first contacted us, you were talking about your social life and about your struggles with your job and with your mom, your boyfriend, and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about what else?
Well, I felt like my life was falling apart around me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really am close to losing my job because I can't go in most days from too much drinking or being too hungover, and even when I do go in, I can barely function. And my boyfriend left me. Yeah, my mother hates me. I hate her. I don't have any friends left to turn to because no one can stand to be around me anymore.
Mm-hmm. So you're feeling alone and you feel like maybe a little bit betrayed, and like everyone has left you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned that you're close to losing your job. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm scared because then I won't have any income.
Do you live with your mother?
Now I do, yeah, since my boyfriend and I broke up. He kept the house.
So prior to your breakup, you lived with your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. So you're scared that you might not have any income. And how did your mother react when she found out that you might be losing your job?
Now she told me how disappointed of me she is. She freaked out, but she is technically helping me a little money now.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
Okay. So you mentioned that some of your social relations are kind of struggling, and you also noted when you first contacted the agency that you were struggling kind of with your mother. Can you please elaborate more on that?
Well, she doesn't like that I drink so much, and after my parents divorced, I felt betrayed by her because we used to be really close, but I never even saw it coming, and I just thought that if they were having problems or something, she would have warned me.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're just not really close anymore.
Okay, so you're feeling hurt because your mom didn't tell you this.
Yeah.
So your parents got divorced. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
They just were fighting, I guess, and not getting along, and I guess they didn't love each other enough anymore, and that was just kind of it. I feel like maybe that's when I started drinking.
So you feel as though your parents' divorce is what made you start drinking?
Yeah, I think so. And I just hate my mother so much. She always makes me do things, and she is so disappointed by me no matter what I do.
So you feel like you're a disappointment to your mother?
Yeah, she tells me all the time.
So you mentioned that because of your drinking, you've been struggling with your social life. Can you please elaborate more on that?
The drinking usually keeps me from going out anymore. I'm usually hungover, too hungover to get out of bed. Kind of lost all my friends because of it.
Okay. So you feel as though your drinking has led you to be more introverted and has therefore caused relations to lack in your social life?
Yes.
Okay. So speaking of your social life, you mentioned because it is lacking, are you feeling maybe a little bit sad?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
because of your drinking problem, you feel as though your social life is kind of lacking.
Yeah.
So because you mentioned about your social life, can you elaborate just a little bit more on what your social life is so I can get a clearer picture?
Well, I don't really have any friends left because I've kind of been pushing everybody away with all my drinking.
Hmm.
And I don't really leave the house unless I need more alcohol.
Okay. So can you please elaborate more on what you meant when you said that you don't have any friends left and you felt like you were pushing them away?
I used to have a decently large friend group, and we would always go on trips and just, I don't know, hang out. But now none of them call me anymore, text me. We haven't gone out forever.
Okay. So you're feeling a little bit hurt.
Yeah. I feel like if I wasn't drinking so much, I wouldn't be pushing them away.
So you believe that if you were to stop drinking, then you could build your social relationships back up again?
I think so, definitely. They were my friends, and then once I started drinking, it just caused so many fights and problems.
Okay, you mentioned the fights and the problems. Can you please elaborate more on that?
Well, when you're drunk, you say a lot of stupid things, and you do a lot of stupid things, and I've done a lot of them. Hurt people I didn't mean to hurt.
Okay. So you feel guilty because you've hurt other people?
Yeah, definitely.
And, can you please elaborate on maybe who you've hurt?
My best friends, all of them. Especially my boyfriend.
So you mentioned before that you were having some social issues with your friends. Do you feel like it relates to your boyfriend as well?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you hurt your boyfriend, and you referred to him as your ex-boyfriend. Can you please explain a little bit about your relationship and what led to the breakup?
Well, we started dating when I started college, and we were going out, having fun, usual stuff. And then I thought he was cheating on me, so I started drinking again, and ever since then, it's just been one fight after another until he said that he couldn't stand it anymore, and if I wasn't going to fix myself, he was just going to leave. So he did.
Okay. So because of your drinking problem, it's caused you to hurt some people and you feel a little disappointed in yourself and you believe that maybe if you stop drinking that it'll fix these problems?
I do.
Okay. And you also mentioned that your drinking started up because you felt as though your boyfriend was cheating on you.
Yeah. Which turned out not to be true. But then I couldn't stop.
So what does an average day look like for you?
Well, usually I've spent the night drinking, so it's hard for me to wake up in the morning, and then eventually when I do, I just end up vomiting. I try to eat something, try to go to work. I'm usually really late for it. Then I come home, and that's when I start drinking again.
Okay. So most days, because of your drinking, you don't really excel in much and you feel like you're spending most days just at home?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you please elaborate just a little bit more on your drinking?
It usually starts at home with my own supply, and then eventually I sometimes go out to a bar. Alone.
Okay. And how are your finances going?
Not so well. My boss doesn't even want to pay me half the time because I'm not doing my job. So really it's just my mom supporting me mostly at this point.
Okay.
Most of my money goes to alcohol. Even the stuff my mother gives me, which kind of pisses her off, and I think she might be kicking me out soon.
Okay. So how does your mother react when she sees you drinking or that you spent her money on alcohol?
She fights with me. We get into a lot of fights because she's so mad.
Can you please elaborate more on when you mentioned that she's so mad?
Well, she thinks that I'm a waste and that the alcohol is just wasting me even more. She thinks it's going to end up killing me somehow.
Mm-hmm. And have you ever tried talking with your mother, or has your mother ever tried talking with you about your problem?
No, she just yells and then we just fight, or I'm too drunk to even get the words out of my mouth.
Okay. Why do you think that you resort to drinking?
All the disappointment in my life and the fact that I keep disappointing everyone around me. I feel like everyone has been disappearing.
Okay, so you're feeling lonely and you feel like a disappointment. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how or why you feel like a disappointment?
Oh, because I'm almost losing my job. I had to move back in with my mother. My boyfriend left me. I have no friends. None of them can stand to be around me. I'm not really doing anything in my life anymore.
Okay, so you feel as though the alcohol consumption is making your social life harder and making you feel very isolated from everyone.
I feel like it's sucking the life out of me.
Okay. And have you tried talking to your boyfriend since the breakup?
I tried to call him, but he never picks up.
Okay, so you mentioned that you feel as though the life is being sucked out of you. So then what would you feel like you could do differently?
Stop drinking, for one. And try and be nicer, I guess, to the people around me.
Try to be nicer. Can you please tell me a little bit more about that?
I've just been so bitter and angry recently. I think mainly from the alcohol. I've been treating everybody around me terribly.
And by treating everyone terribly around you, can you please say more about that?
I've just been picking fights with everyone, like, on all their flaws, and I think it's just because I don't feel right myself. I don't know.
So you don't feel yourself, and you feel like you're maybe slipping away from them?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So you mentioned your breakup.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do, and what did you feel then when it happened?
Hurt and sad. Felt betrayed again.
Okay.
I felt like it was my fault.
It was her fault. So you blame yourself for the breakup?
I do. I thought he was cheating on me, and then I started drinking. That's really how it ended.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit more about the breakup? Did he break up with you, or did you initiate it?
Well, he pretty much said that it was either the drinking or him, and then he just walked out, and I said I couldn't stop.
How many times a day do you think you drink?
Almost all day. At least 10 times, maybe. Probably more.
Okay, and do you consume any food?
When I remember to. Not usually.
Okay, so your alcohol consumption is messing with your food intake?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. So you're saying that your alcohol consumption is messing with your day-to-day activities and doesn't allow you to make meals for yourself?
Yeah, I can't really do much.
Okay.
I feel like if I didn't drink so much, I'd be able to feed myself more. My boyfriend and I used to cook together all the time.
Okay. As you see it, if you stopped drinking, then you'd be able to eat more, and then maybe you'd be able to have some form of communication, either with friends. If you were connected with your boyfriend or maybe your mother, you could try cooking meals again.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
Okay. So you've addressed a number of problems here about your drinking problems, social life, and then your breakup with your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we maybe try to tackle them all at once, that it might get a little bit confusing. So I'm thinking maybe we could just take one of them and start to try to tackle it from there. So would you like to address them one at a time?
Yes.
Okay. Which one would you like to start with?
My boyfriend. It's been really hard for me.
Okay. So then as you see it, One of the issues that you'd like to address is your breakup with your boyfriend. I believe that if we tackle that first, maybe I can then focus on something else.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that maybe we can come up with some goals maybe for you to achieve, and we can set next time for a next appointment.
That sounds good.
So you mentioned earlier about your friendships and all of that and your breakup with your boyfriend. Can you expand a little bit on how you've been feeling since your breakup?
Depressed. I've been drinking even more if that's possible. I really don't know what to do anymore. I feel kind of lost without him. We were together all the time.
Okay, so you feel lonely because of the breakup.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. So then maybe one goal that we can make would be to get you out of the house at least once a day.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good?
That sounds easy enough.
Okay, and what sort of activities do you like to do?
I would like to go shopping and drive around, see movies.
Okay.
I like to go bowling.
So maybe we can make it a goal that once a week you go out bowling, either alone or with a friend, and we'll start from there.
Okay.
And does maybe completing this goal within 2 months sound good?
Yeah, sounds doable.
Okay, so 2 months, that's about 6 weeks. So for the minimum that you would go bowling is at least 5 times out of the 2 months.
Okay, that's the start.
Okay. Alright, so can you repeat your goal back to me?
To go bowling once a week for 2 months.
Okay, and do you see anything that maybe could get in the way of doing that? Financials, transportation?
No, shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, good. Alright, so I feel like this is a good place to stop for today.
Okay.
So maybe we can talk about, maybe I can see you halfway through your goal or maybe at the end of your goal.
Halfway through.
Halfway through, okay. And then the next time I see you, I can check on your progress and see how you're doing.
Okay.